You're listening to a series about a quiet failure mode in modern AI. Not hallucinations, not obvious errors, but what happens when an AI sounds reasonable and still gets the argument wrong. Each episode examines how alignment, safety, and norm prediction shape AI behavior, and why those design choices matter for truth, pluralism, and legitimate restraint. Up to now, I've argued that modern AI safety frameworks conflict with Mills's harm principle and liberal pluralism. In this episode, I want to make that argument concrete by mapping it directly onto specific alignment techniques used in contemporary AI systems. Because this isn't abstract, it's implemented behavior. The most influential alignment technique today is reinforcement learning from human feedback, or RLHF. At a high level, RLHF trains models to produce responses that human raters judge as better. The question is, better by what standard? In practice, raters are not scoring truth in any robust sense. They're scoring politeness, perceived safety, norm compliance, avoidance of sensitive interpretations. This means the model is being trained to predict which answers will be socially rewarded, not which answers are most accurate. That is norm prediction formalized. RLHF relies on aggregating preferences across raters. This is often described as learning social values. But preference aggregation is not consensus. It reflects who was hired, how they were instructed, which answers were shown, and what the company is trying to avoid. Disagreement is averaged away. Minority views are treated as noise. From a pluralistic perspective, this is not alignment. It's value compression. Another common technique is safety fine-tuning, where models are trained to handle sensitive topics by broadening scope, reframing questions, injecting disclaimers, or redirecting to higher-level abstractions. This is exactly the behavior described in the earlier example. The model does not refuse outright. It substitutes a safer adjacent response. This creates the illusion of engagement while avoiding precision. The result is not censorship, it's argument substitution. Even when models are not explicitly refusing, content policies shape responses indirectly. Policies define what is considered risky, what requires hedging, what demands moral framing. These policies act as latent priors on the model's reasoning. The model learns that certain lines of inquiry trigger penalties, so it learns to avoid them preemptively. This is anticipatory compliance. Red teaming is designed to surface failure modes. But when worst-case scenarios dominate training, models become optimized for avoiding the most catastrophic hypothetical interpretation of a response. This encourages overgeneralization, excessive caution, and refusal to answer narrow factual questions. Mill explicitly warned against this logic. If worst-case reasoning governs restraint, then restraint has no limit. One striking consequence of these techniques is the loss of intent sensitivity. The model no longer distinguishes between a factual question, an exploratory question, and an adversarial one. Instead, it responds based on topic-level risk. This is why precise good faith questions get treated as if they were ideological provocations. Alignment flattens context. Each of these techniques is defensible in isolation, but together They produce a system that predicts norms, enforces them silently, and does so at scale. No individual rater intends to govern discourse. No single policy claims authority. But the combined effect is governance nonetheless. This is how power emerges from technical systems without anyone explicitly claiming it. What these techniques lack is a clear theory of legitimacy. They answer, what should we avoid, but not, by what right? Mill insisted that restraint be justified by concrete harm. Modern alignment replaces that with risk aversion and norm compliance. That's not a technical choice. It's a political one. Alignment techniques are often described as neutral tools. They aren't. They encode judgments about harm, norms, and authority, and they do so invisibly. If we care about liberalism, pluralism, and truth-seeking, then alignment cannot be treated as a purely engineering problem. It's governance by other means, and it should be evaluated as such. If an AI system sounds careful, that doesn't mean it's being precise. If an AI system sounds reasonable, that doesn't mean it's engaging with the question you asked. Alignment is not just a technical problem. It's a question about authority. Thank you for listening.